Yo, show comments on stage. Okay, no, I can't. No need. What's up, people? How you guys doing? Look, see. So this is the most random thing, right? I got home from work and I decided I was going to model the English Premier League trophy since Arsenal are champions, and I was just going to model it in Blender 3D and have fun with it. Then I realized, hey, why don't I just stream this live while I'm doing it and actually show like the whole process? So yeah, I'm going to switch to this. I've started right, but I had started with um a line, a Bezier curve that I had modeled into the shape here, and I'll show you what I mean by that. So in the modifiers tab here, I can turn that off. And if I go into, you'll see the outline that I have. I have an outline here. Let me move it and just say G. So this is the outline. If you see that this orange line here is the outline that I traced out from the image, which I then added a screw to, something called a screw, a modifier screw, which then allowed me to be able to first create that first lathe. And if I go back into my Bezier curve and I say turn on the lathe, now you can see that first part. I've also added environments and everything already, environment lighting. I'm not trying to teach anybody Blender. I'm just going to show you how I'm building like a whole EPL trophy from scratch. So let's continue. I'm going to turn this one off, the bottom one here, and then I'm going to continue with the crown. And just to model the crown, that's going to be a different, yeah, that's going to be a different thing because I've got to spin the whole circle. But let's do it. I'm going to first come in here and say, give me a new curve, a Bezier curve. Where's my Bezier curve? Where's you at? All right, and I'll take my Bezier curve. I'll say G. I'll move it all the way up here. Right now, you probably can't see because the paper is white. And I need to zoom in. And then I'll say, I'll go into the edit mode. So this is my Bezier curve, this green line that you see here, right? This whole green line. But then I'm going to start from here and say, let me move the whole thing. And just move the whole thing here. Okay, let's start from here. And then what's up, man? How you doing, bro? I see your comments. I'm just messing around with this stuff. I'm trying to model the English Premier League trophy, and I thought it'd be nice to just have fun with it for people who are interested in stuff like 3D and all that. Anyways, so I'm going to just keep modeling this part of it, and then I'm going to try and do it as quickly as I can. Okay, and then take this part. Let's come here, and then now if I say extrude, I should be able to create a curve around here. As you can see, I'm trying to trace out the curve, and that's what I need to do. When I'm done with that, I'll be able to kind of lathe it. Or better still, there's another thing I could have done. I could have easily used a cylinder or a tube, which I think I might eventually use if this doesn't work. But let's get let me get this guy up and running, and then say, all right, so let's see if this will work. Then I zoom out a little, say extrude, pull it out. And let's put it right all the way here. The good thing about modeling this way is it's non-destructive, it's procedural. So when I'm done, if I say tab, okay, so now that I have that line, I can then take that second Bezier curve. I can go into my modifier stack, click on search, type in the word screw, add a screw to it, and bam, see that? It's created the screw. So now I feel like it's a little bit, the Bezier curve is on this end here, is extruding too much. So that's from the center here, which means I can go back into my Bezier curve here. And if I take this guy and I say G along the x-axis and I move it, it should at some point, or it's screwing it around the okay, so let's see what I got here. Along the z-axis, screw iterations 1, angle 360. So that means that the center of this reference image is a little wrong. But let's turn on the other one as well, the other Bezier. We'll turn that one on. So as you can see, there's two it's not very detailed in this one, which means I could just go in here and just make it a little bit more detailed in the viewfinder, make it 64. So we know that and then I can add a material to this as well, the silver material that I already created. And so now I have that guy. And if I go back to the front view, I could just take this same screw, right? This same screw here. Let's just adjust it that way. And then I could take it and I could just say Shift D, duplicate it, G on the Z axis, and duplicate it all the way to the top here. And something is amiss. I've got a model for this one separately. Anyways, well, we're going to, let me just do this and say scale. Yeah, that's what I should do actually. Man, bro, don't worry about the World Cup, man. Nigeria was not going to, it's not that we're not good enough to make it, but we have very horrible, and you know this, we have a very horrible FA. And having a horrible FA is not a good thing because there's not much you can do, you know. When the players themselves are the ones struggling to get everything sorted, it's not a good look at all. It's not a good look. So I'm real time modeling the, like, let me take out this reference so people can see. In real time, I'm modeling the EPL trophy. I'm going to do a full on animation with it when I'm done. If we're there again, if Nigeria was in the World Cup, like, man, you know what? One of the conversations that I don't want to have about football is like, players who are like from their parents are from like a particular country, and then they end up playing for another country. I've always stayed away from those conversations. I want to have them, but it's just a difficult conversation to have because, man, you just imagine the type of team that Nigeria would have had. Just imagine with the caliber of players that we have right now that are playing for other countries. You know, or well, I guess they're from that country because they're born there. I get that, but I'm just saying, like, if they're chosen, you know, like remember the Boateng brothers. What's their name again? Where one of them played for Germany, the other played for Ghana. But just imagine, like, we had, that would have been bad. Man, our boys would have been too bad. Yeah, let me turn these guys into vectors first and foremost, so that way I can easily move them. Yeah. So yeah, I'm just basically modeling a you're listing names. You're listing names, oh, Saka, Olise, Eze, like, bruh, it would have been fire. Fire. That's what it would have been, man. Proper fire. But you know, that's the beauty of the sport where, you know, and the beauty of freedom, where, you know what, hey, the country that you were born in and that has given you the opportunity to be the player that you are. Yes, if you choose to play for them, I'm all for that, man. Because again, that's where you honed your skill. That country gave you everything. And Nigeria just never offered you anything. You know, we never offered anything to these guys. So I don't blame half these players if they look at Nigeria and say, oh, even though my parents are from Nigeria, I don't want to play for Nigeria. In fact, I support them not to play for Nigeria because we've not given them anything, sadly. I mean, if we had looked out for these people from when they were young, like be interested in them as youngsters, interested in them while they're playing for the academy in Arsenal at 8, 9, 10, and have a good system back home. And you're like, oh, you know what? Hey, you talk to the parents. Anytime your son is on holiday, let him come train with the under 15 of Nigeria, under 16 of Nigeria. Let him come, you know, start getting a system in place, pay for them to travel, pay for them to get the best, you know. Yeah. But we don't do that. And then when the time for World Cup comes, we're expecting that these guys will just down all their tools and just come and play for us just because they're from Nigeria. No, it doesn't work that way. So yeah, man. Oh, wow, what happened to my screw? Let me see. Let me go to. Okay, so let me turn off this Bezier thing. Why is my okay? I don't know what's going on. I've made a mistake somewhere. Okay, so I need to first center this to object. Let's go and do the alignment, set origin to 3D cursor. Where's the 3D cursor? Okay, right there. So now if I turn on the lathe, it should be right around. There we go. Perfecto. See that? I should model everything around the 3D cursor. That's what needs to happen. So this guy too here, I'm going to add. Yeah, I mean, again, like, you're right. If the country is not offering them anything, why should they be there? Yeah, all that one is just, see, look, the hatred of players and stuff is just all for banter's sake. Let's be honest about it. I think, yes, there is racism in certain, which is why the sport was saying ban out racism. But I don't think that racism is uniquely to just Saka or anybody like that. I think that there's a place of, there's some people who are just useless people in the sport who should not even be there. We should not be giving them any type of audience. Those type of people, there are many of them, But for those who are not doing it, man, we should support them. And but yeah, again, players will get cursed out if you miss a penalty in the final. Like, I think, yeah, maybe a little bit more because of his skin tone or whatever it is, but players do get cursed out. Guy, you can't just miss a penalty in the final. People who don't remember, I think it was in USA 94, where a Colombian player missed something, and by the time he got home, they offed him. Boop! That was the end of it. We never heard from him again. So now the top of the crown. Yes, this is the part that let me see. I'm going to try it first and see whether it works the way I think it's supposed to work. I'm going to first lathe. I said lathe. I'm first going to model 1, 2, 3, and up to the middle here. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. Then I'll see if that spinning that thing around the screw works. So let's go to Shift A. Let me put in another Bezier curve, and then just say G. Yeah, and then let's go into the tab. G on the Z-axis. Let's go here, and let's go into tab. Let me go in here and say vector. I don't know about doing content on the World Cup. I'm not going to be. I'm working on something right now with I'm just waiting on the particular person to get back. I wanted to discuss it with him first. There's a thing I'm trying to do with it, which is like a podcast proper. I don't know. I'm just gonna keep doing just like my freestyle content that I've been doing. And yeah, if there's anything interesting on the World Cup, I will do certain things on the World Cup. But genuinely, I just want to be able to vibe, share what I'm good at, talk about my football from my own perspective. I'm no expert, but at the same time, so here we're modeling. Today is a 3D modeling, don't worry. Today is going to be 3D modeling. Some people are going to come on the stream. I'm like, what is this guy up to? Just making videos on what I do for a living. So this is part of my work, my day job. And so I'm building, for those who don't know what it is, I'm making the English Premier League trophy. I'm modeling the English Premier League trophy. So if you want to hang with me while I model this, let's do it, man. I could make this into like a 2-part series or something where I do today, and then you know what it is. That should not be what I should have done. Let me take this guy and say G, because yeah. And then let's say extrude. I mean, not even know what I'm doing here, to be honest. Sometimes when you model stuff, you're just doing it, hoping that it works when you throw in all the modifiers, and then it doesn't. So you have to go start again. But yeah, that's the process, man. You figure it out as you go along, yeah, man. So for the World Cup, it starts on Thursday. There's actually a World Cup viewing set, like a FIFA approved viewing center right across the road from my office. I saw them setting up today. It is going to be loud in that place. Yeah, things are going to get loud. But yeah, it looks like it's going to be fun as well because they were setting up and they were setting up all these like canopies and screens and stuff like that. And I was like, well, okay, cool. We'll see how it goes. We'll see how all that pans out. Let me do this here. B. That's my baby screaming. That's how we. That's how we. Okay, let me see if I think what I should do first is just extrude this guy in all the different angles. Now let's see. Let me see if it works. If it doesn't work, then I'll just, extrude all the way down here. And then let's say escape. Then I can come back in and tweak it. All right, so I'm modeling basically. Here's what I'm doing, people. I know some people are probably just joining and wondering what's this guy doing. I'm modeling the English Premier League trophy, basically in 3D. That's what I'm doing. So yeah, just kind of vibing. Let me see. I'm going to then throw in a modifier here and say a screw modifier. Let's see. I doubt if this will work, to be honest. I think I might need to model that crown separately. Okay. Along the x-axis, I have the basic shape. Okay. There's a basic shape. There's a basic shape there. All right, so I need to cut through that basic shape to get the crown. So if I turn this off, so I have, okay, so that's one way to try it. The other way for me to try it is to actually do a what's it called? Let me just do it. Shift A, put a mesh, put a cylinder, tab A, scale down my cylinder, tab G, Z. So let me bring this guy up to the top here. Let's go to the front view where I can see, and I'll put everything in lines so I can see all of this right now. So then I can go into tab mode, scale Z. Let me scale the Z axis and tab mode G, Z, bring it down. Okay, so this is what I need here. I think at the end of the day here, I can put a, what's that thing called again? Not a generate, deform, yeah. I could put a deform tool on this guy and call it, let's see, simple deform. Let's put a taper on the y-axis, on the z-axis. Okay, there we go. So now if I go back into my shade mode, you can see what I'm doing. I think I could, the factor is a lot. So maybe going to my original cylinder, onto tab, and then scale my cylinder up. There we go. And then scale it on the z-axis down. There we go. And then say tab. And then in the cylinder itself, let's see. Yeah, I think I'll just go back in there and say tab. Maybe a right click, subdivide, so that the cylinder is smoother. That's a lot of vertices. Okay, then I could just say tab, maybe right click, shade smooth. No. Right click, shade auto smooth. So now I'm getting somewhere. I'm getting somewhere with the, I mean, I'm going to get into the, I think the next time I do a live is when I'm going to actually, do all the cutting through the crown. But we have the basic shape, and the crown itself is gold. So let's give it a gold material for now. I'm going to create a gold material by just creating this gold, increase my metallic. reduce my roughness. Excuse me, people. Oof, that I hit a little. Yeah, I think that should be that. And then if I go into my shader world, I'm not a big fan of the way this thing is showing. Let me close out the. Yeah, I'm going to still cut out the crown and everything, but I just wanted to see if I could get the shape. I don't like the way this guy is looking. So if I set Control 2 and I added that to the. Oh, it's gonna hang. I just did something called subdivision surface. Yes, it's and I already had subdivided, so there's going to be a lot of vertices. Boop, it's destroyed it. I knew that was coming. All right, so this is a cylinder is my option 2, and then I have my option 1, which is my Bezier, which is this one. Where's that Bezier? Did I turn off? Yeah, that's the Bezier one. Okay, I think I turned off the modifier. So this one I turned off the modifier here, which I already have. I could just do that. So I have this. I could go in here and give it that gold material as well, just for now. But I'm not happy with the output, so I'm going to have to figure out that part. Let's model the arms, the handles of the trophy. I'm going to go to the front view. I'm going to go to Y. I'm going to zoom in a little bit. Yeah, this image, I grabbed it from iStock as a screen grab. Nothing to, just something to guide me. I'm going to give a Bezier. I'm going to say G. Move my Bezier curve right here. Let's start it from here. I'm going to start it from here. Then I'm going to go into my tab mode. Then convert this guy into a vector. Let's just model this hand really quickly. I'm just going to model the hand really quickly. I'm trying a rough one, and then I'm going to eventually in the next stream, when I do the next stream, where I am. Oh, am I doing the right thing? I don't think so. I don't always do the right thing, but yeah, that's a good thing about 3D. You'll figure it out eventually. You make a mistake, you figure it out, you carry on, you go back and check it, you go back and do it. And yeah, I knew it. So let's go and say G. So the issue with this is, sorry, honey? It's in one of the cabinets downstairs. But it's really bad super glue. Like it literally melted the plastic of the microwave when I put it on it. So it's pretty powerful. Anyways, so yeah, here we are with our, and then I'm going to say extrude E. Here, I want to zoom in a little bit. Zoom in a little, and then say take this guy. Say G. And say G. Okay, so this is the top one. There we go. And this is the bottom one that comes down this way. So now we have just go to the front view. Stop moving. Here I'm going to do this. I'm going to take the outer guy and say G. Just trying to see if I can center this line along the lines of the handle. So I'm basically just modeling the English Premier League. Okay, I keep jumping into that view. That's my bad. And then we'll say extrude again. Then I'll take this guy all the way to the end, the bottom here. And I'll select this guy, and I'll just kind of try and match. Let's try and match the energy small. Now, other reference images, like I should have looked at other reference images of the English Premier League, which I will in the next stream, which is this handle round? Is it square? I didn't look at all of that. I just got a flat 2D image to work off with. Now that I have that, I can say tab. Then I can go into, I think it's no, I think it should be in here. Let's go into not render. No. Sorry, hold on, people. Just give me a second. Let me mute my mic. All right, I'm back. Yeah, I go in here. I would turn this into a geometry. I would say, where is it at again? Not bevel path. What is it that I do here? This is the problem. Every time I forget how to do this stuff. Smooth, full, sweep, line, fill, solver, radius. Okay, so let's see if my extrusion. No, it's not extrusion. It's supposed to be offset. No, it's not offset. There's something that I need to do here, and I need to round depth. What happened to my whole? Didn't I just model the entire? I just did. See why sometimes you just press the wrong thing? Okay, there we go. I should just press tab and close there. There we go. Yeah. So now I need to come in here and then just say depth. There we go. So now I'm putting some depth into the put some depth. Let me remove that reference image for now so it doesn't block everything. So now I can come in here and look at the handle, say tab, maybe take this guy, go here, go to the front view, maybe turn that reference image back on so I could zoom in, make everything lines. That way I can see what I'm doing. You see all this overlapping stuff here. I don't want it to do that. So I'm just going to say G, and I'm going to come forward a little bit like that. Then I'll do the same for this guy, and I'll say here G, and straighten that out. And then this angle here, I know I went all the way out a little bit, so I'm just going to try to bring that G in. And bring this guy as a... So I'm basically just trying to follow the entire thing and see if I can get it right. So now, yeah, it still has a little bit of a dink in that edge. That can be fixed again. Depth resolution can go from 4. Round, maybe object, maybe profile. What kind of profile are we looking at? Let's go to... let's go round. Yeah, maybe first I make this guy a vector. So that way, let's see if I can make this guy set handle type to automatic. Okay. This one here, I can set U to vector, set U to automatic, and then yeah, there we go. And then say, yeah, I don't know if that vector is working. Maybe aligned. You know, if it's not working on this edge here, another thing I could do is just say, turn this depth off. Make this guy a vector. Select that one. Oop, what did I do? I went all the way in. I should be careful. Still on the y-axis, yeah. Select this guy and then just say G, let's just adjust it. Give me a second. All right, the bevel subsection, change the bevel shape down to object. Okay, so here. Not really sure what this guy's talking about. Okay, yeah. Just give me a second to check something out here real quick. Boom, 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 boom. Yeah. Yeah, I'm basically modeling like the EPL trophy. So I think that's what, if you're looking at this, circle, Vizier, then what do you do? Okay, so now that I have that, what did you add to it? Go to modify. I see it. So let's do this instead. So now that I have my profile done, and now that I have this profile done from the front view, I would basically create let's create a circle. Yeah. And then if I select this guy and I go to profile, and I'll go to object actually, sorry. What object do I want? I want that Bezier circle. Yeah, that circle is massive. So I just need to do this and then scale it down. And that gives me roughly the handle that I'm looking for, but I still don't like the edge of this handle. Like if I take away this, you can see like the edge here. Now, if I take this Bezier circle, maybe what I should check on is resolution. Let me see, 32. Maybe make this 2D. No, 3D. Fill sub sweep line, radius, bound clamps, no, stretch, no. It's this Bezier here. Fill caps, bound clamp, and then let's go to yeah, start. And I'll figure that part out. I'll work on it. But in the meantime, let me just throw in another material. I'll roughly shape it all out, and then so now that I have this guy as the handle, I then need to now mirror this handle. So I have a full-on handle. I think I'm going to put the origin, set origin to 3D cursor. And then I'm going to also throw in a modifier here. And that modifier will be a mirror modifier, if I'm not mistaken. Is it mirror? What's that modifier called again? Let's look for it. Generate, build, yeah, mirror modifier. There we go. But I throw in a mirror modifier, which gives me the other side of it. So now I have a basic shape of the trophy, like from the front view. I can turn on the reference image here again so we can see. And then of course I'm going to model the lions and all the other parts at the bottom and everything. But here's a general look of the EPL trophy coming together. Let me put a plane, tab A, scale. G, bring it all the way, Z, bring it all the way down. Now we're getting some silver in this guy. So let me turn this guy off, the reference, and let me turn the reference off. And if I go back to the front view, I can take this, and take the plane, say G, Z, at least till I come back and finish the bottom part about it. Now we're looking like we're building something. Yep. Trophies coming together. The other thing I wanted to do, yeah, I'm going to also put across on the English Premier League. Let me add a material to this floor. And with that material added, that should give us some type of reflection. I'm just going to throw a material on this floor, new material, reduce the roughness. Yeah, so now you can see how we're getting some more reflection and stuff in it. Lighting, I believe I had an environment light here. Yes, I do. It's a little too much. I could reduce the strength. Just say, there we go. I just want it like right roughly about there. And I should be able to give let me add a camera. I'm going to add a camera right now. If I go into my camera view, you can't really see anything. So I'm going to say G, hold this guy out and pull out. Yeah, camera was stuck in there. So now we have a camera view. Let me see a few things I could do with my camera. I'm going to model the crown as well and everything, but a few things I could do with the camera real quick. I could go into my camera settings. Let's just turn on depth of field. Let's select object, and I want the object to be the main Bezier curve, that one. Then I could reduce my f-stop. So everything else is out of focus like that. And the focus is on this guy. And then of course now I can zoom in with my camera. And we can all see like the EPL trophy coming together. Real time live, like modeling this stuff, and then then I can even put a logo on it and call it whatever. But let's go back to the front view. And I'm going to turn on the reference image again. So that's my camera there. I'm just going to model the rest of the things that need to be modeled. Remember, I added a mirror to it. So anything I do to this guy now will appear on the other side. So basically all I need to do is come in here and go into my tab mode, which is like my edit mode. And let's just turn this guy to a line, and then I can then just take another Bezier line and just draw from here, right? And say, no, what's that? The curve pen, no. Am I in my edit mode? Yes, I should be. Okay, I should be able to say P, or just separate by, then say G. Okay, so let me not mess this guy up from here. I think what I need to do is just come in here and say, let me add another spline real quick, another Bezier. Then I could just say G, bring it up. If I say tab, I just need some of these things you might not be able to see because of the compression of the screen, but I can see them. So that's why I'm trying to do it real quick so that you can see the final output and be like, okay, well, he's building something genuinely. Because sometimes it just looks like we're not doing anything. It just looks like the whole thing looks tacky. All right, so let me say G, come in here. And then the same thing here. I'm going to just turn this guy into a vector. I got a missed call from who? Anyways, I'm going to do another G here. We're going to try to make this a different type of yeah. So now I can then just say tab G on the x-axis, just move this guy right here. So now if I go into the profile of this vector here, I could do the exact same thing I did with object fill caps, and it's going to ask me which object I want, and I'm going to click the same Bezier circle that I picked. So now I have this handle. So if I remove this reference image from here, and I zoom out and I go into my render mode, you can see that I have this same handle, right? But one thing is missing here. I'm going to go object. I'm going to go to the set origin to 3D cursor. I'm going to take this object here in real time as is. I'm just going to apply the same silver material that I've applied to everything else. And then I'll go into the modifier tab again. and click here, and I'd click mirror and add the mirror object, and that appears on the other side, and bam. Now, here's my question. If I look at reference images of the trophy, that middle part, is it circular or is it square? That's what I don't know, but we'll clean it up as we go along. You know, obviously we're just building this out of like the first day of Rush. All right, let's build the bottom part of the trophy real quick. The bottom part, and then I'm going to let me remove all these guys. So the way we're going to build the bottom part, I built it up to here, is it's going to be the same thing that I did with I think a quick way to build this bottom part, which I just realized I could have done without having to kill myself with too much work, was to add a cylinder. No, I didn't like the way the cylinder looked though. But let's try it again. I'll add a cylinder, right? I'll make it 128. That's a lot, but it is what it is. I'll bring it down on the Z-axis here. Yeah, and then if I go into the cylinder mode, which is the edit mode, I can just say scale on the Z-axis until I get to somewhere like here. Then I could go down here and then say go tab. And then if I go into the modifier tab, I just say deform, simple deform, right? Simple deform. I want to add a taper to it. I want it to taper along the Z-axis. Factor should be negative this way. Yeah. And then let's see. So now I can go back into edit mode A, and then still scale on the Z-axis till I get what I want. And then scale on the X-axis. Am I doing the right thing? No. Scale in general dial. That's what you need to do. And just scale on the Z-axis again. Then let's just scale in general down. So I'll just say here G all the way to here. And then go back into tab and say A, and then just scale downwards. I need this guy to scale this way, and then scale on the Z-axis again. Then say G here. So this is where I'm at. Well, the height is not so bad. So now that I'm getting to where the height is, I can come back and adjust the taper. And then I can then come back into the tab mode A and then scale the whole thing. And then maybe for me to get that bulge, that curve at the bottom, maybe add another simple deform, right? Maybe add another simple deform, but this time around, I'll add a bend on the Y, on the Z. Now, let me see what it looks like in 3D space. I need to look at what it looks like in 3D space for me to appreciate what it looks like. So here, I don't want it to be a bend. It's not a twist. Yeah, it's not the bend. It's not the bend. This guy doesn't have this thing that happens with restrictions. Okay, let's see. Limits, lock. Okay, that might be what I'm looking for. This might be it. But you know what? If this guy doesn't work, oh sorry, that was working. Let me just put a shade auto smooth. Let me add a thingy to it. Silver material. Let me go back to my camera view. Which, okay, I then need to go into my camera itself. I then need to go into my camera itself and then say G, hold that down, bring it up. No, we can then now come. Okay, so I don't really like the way it looks. So I'm going to delete this one, and I'm just going to draw it, manually draw it, because I think the more I draw it, the more accurate it is. So I can go back here to the front, come in here, and I want to draw this big base first, or even the bottom part on this one. So let's just go and say Shift A. I'm going to place another curve, the Bezier curve. I'm just going to say G, bring it down. Where's my curve at? Okay, there we go. I'll just say G, bring my curve. I think if I go into this curve settings here and see there's a way to change the color. Anyways, yeah, if I could go, let me see. Let's go into edit preferences. There's got to be a way, interface, viewport, quality textures, themes, not themes. I know it's somewhere in here. I just haven't been in there in a long time. Sorry, key map, inputs, themes. It's under themes or something like that, where I can go and find I could go find that thing. But in the meantime, what I'll do is I'll take my reference image, then I'll go to visibility here, showing viewport selected, viewport display, color. Okay, there's so many things I haven't done a lot of 3D in a long time, so it's been a minute. But let's go back into this guy, and I'll just say tab here, and I'll say A, right click all of them, and turn everybody into a vector. Hold on, toggle free on the line. Okay, yeah, anyway, so now I've got that guy as a vector, and I can just come here and say G, and I can hold that one there and say G, boop, boop, boop. Zoom in. I like to zoom in as much as I can, even though this image doesn't have a lot of, it pixelates at the point where you zoom in. But the good thing is I can then do this, come out here, say extrude, drag this down there, select my this, and then give it the bulge. That bulge is what I was trying to achieve with the other thing that I didn't achieve, which tells you that if you don't use the skill set for a long time, you're going to get to a point where you're going to forget how to use it. And then this one here, I'm just going to do a whole G here, and then same thing, and just try to match. There we go. Take this guy, extrude it, bring it all the way down here. Let's do some fun stuff. All right, so now we have you, and then I could just go into. Now I'm going to go back into tab, select both of them, then G on the x-axis. I don't want them to. Yeah. So now I can then go into, let me see what I put in this other guys in the modifier. It was not mirror. Screw. Yeah. So I'm going to go in here, go into my modifier tab here, click on my modifier tab, press screw, click on screw, bam. Okay. That looks like it worked a little bit itty bitty. And then I can just take this guy and just say scale. All right. So I've got that bottom base area back where I want it to be. It's not the highest of resolutions in the viewport, but I can make it 128 in the viewport. That smoothens that out. In my render as well, I could just make that 128. I don't mind. That's a lot of resolution. But now all I just need to do is add the material to it as well. The material at that bottom part is silver. So now if you go to the front view again, you'll see that we now have this part, and then we need to then model the base and the other middle part here. Now this part, I could model it as one, but I'll model it in a way that and that's what I'll do. I will take this Bezier, and I will Shift D. Sorry, and I'll take that Bezier and say Shift D, boom. Then if I go into the edit mode, I will take these two, No, I'll take this top area and say G. And I'll take this bottom area and say G right here. Now I think that part is green if I'm not mistaken. So that I can kind of just show you guys in real time what's happening. I'm going to change the material on this guy. Let me first go out tab mode and let me delete the material so that you can see the base. You can see like I'm modeling the base real time with the sides, right? And so what I almost got it. I think I just need to add, let me add a material to this one new. That material is green. Let's make it a little metallic. Let's reduce the roughness so it has that shiny green. So now I got that shiny green. And if I go to my camera mode and turn off my references, boom, boom. Where's my plane? Got to turn on my plane. Got to turn on my, okay, no, that's my empty. So now I can take my plane and just say G on the Z axis and just drive it down. I can go to the front view real quick and adjust that. Say G on the Z axis. That green is a little bit too bright, man. Come on, Dio. You can do better than this. Then just tone it down a little. Yeah, you've seen that green. You tone it down. It's too bright, too bright. Yeah. So here we are now with our EPL trophy. We haven't done the top with the crown yet. So that's going to be in the next video that I do. But just to throw some stuff into this, I'm going to throw a light in. I'm going to throw a area light in. Scale it up. Let's take the area light up. What I want to do is I want to be able to move this light and say G on the y-axis right here, and then rotate it. And just say rotate on the x-axis. Yeah, there we go. So now if I go back to my camera view, and then I take my my light, just make it harsh so I can get that rim. I can get that rim light behind it. This environment light, I don't know why it's giving me. Okay, so let me quickly do something with the environment lights. I'm going to split my screen. I'm going to turn this bottom part here into my shader editor. I'm going to go from object to world. And I believe I have the environment light here. I don't know if I have, but let me say Control T. Yeah, there we go. I want to be able to rotate this environment light on the Z axis. You can kind of see in real time as I'm rotating the environment light for the shadow. So if the I don't want that shadow to be, I want the shadow to be like in front. It's a little still too harsh for me. Yeah. So it acts like a backlight, and then I could just, yeah, and then I could go back into my camera mode. And we're live modeling let me turn on my reference image. So now you can see my reference image. Now it's how to model these lions. I don't know. I'm gonna have to think it through. And I think I'll do that in the next stream. How to do the lions and then do the but I already have like a rough idea of like this bezier here. Okay, so if I go back into my and I turn this guy off, what I basically have is just I think I know. Yeah, I now know how to do this. I'll probably do in the next stream, like I said. But the good thing is we have a rough outline of a EPL trophy. I'm going to make an intro out of this trophy by the time I'm done. It might take me a few weeks because of work and everything. But let me save Control S just so we can see what a rendered image looks like. Let me throw one up real quick. Let's see. Got to reduce this to like 100. Way too much. If I say denoise, let's go to render image. Yeah, we got a render. We got an image render. Don't worry about the crown. I know some people are going to come here and start lamenting about this crown now. They don't realize that I've been saying that the crown is not a. So let me do that render again. Render image. There we go. I'm going to model the crown in my next stream. But what I did do here was just basically build this whole thing out from scratch. I built it out from basically this empty right here. Literally just built out the whole EPL trophy outline in 3D. There's still a lot of, things that I need to fix. Okay, so there's this here, for example, that needs to go. This wing type thing. Now that easily could be another extrude, which I could. Yeah, one thing I actually need to do first is maybe I need to go into Affinity, right? Let's do this. Let me do this. What's going on? Why can't I find our affinity? Okay, I'm sharing my screen, so it's not allowing me to do all of that stuff that I like to do. Okay, let me come here. What's going on? Okay. Anyways, thank you guys for hanging with me. Appreciate it. This is it's been a fun thing. I just started modeling it and I was like, let me just come do a live stream about it while I model it. I'll probably try and finish this between now and the next couple of days. Jump in again. Still keep, like you can see, it's not looking bad, is it? The EPL trophy is not looking bad. I mean, add that wing, add a couple more things. Maybe what if I change the environment? Let's see. I know I used an outdoor one, but what if I used an indoor that had some more colors, some white, like a studio? There we go. See how that green pops now? That's what I'm talking about. The environment lighting as well. And then maybe if I made the floor material a lot less. Look at all that metallic stuff on the floor there. There we go. All right. Yeah, we're getting there. I'm just being silly. Let's go to camera view. Let me go to my camera settings and say always. The other thing that I could do is go in here in my shader. Come on in here, say turn on depth of field, turn on shadow, turn on cavity, so that when I'm modeling in this phase, it doesn't look too bad. But if we pull up a reference image of let me do this real quick. Let me pull up a reference image. Okay, there we go. This is not looking bad, honestly. Like, I don't know if you're able to see the window that I just dragged in as a reference image, right? But this is not looking bad at all. If I say so myself. I mean, the crown is a whole new ball. It's a whole new thing I got to tackle, but I'll tackle that in the next stream. But I have all the pieces. Then I also need to tackle this edge here. Maybe I could do this in geometry nodes. But so far so good. I like the way it's come out. I like how it's looked so far so good. I'm pretty happy with the initial thought of modeling this. Normally modeling should take shorter than this, but I'm a lazy modeler, so. And that trick worked real quickly here for the green part at the bottom. Then that wing, I was thinking about doing it now. I'll do it next stream. You know what? We'll do it in the next stream. I've given almost an hour to basically just trying to model the stuff. I should be able to finish this model in an hour, but my laziness is what will. Yeah. I actually have one that I've done before, like that is an older one. I'm not a big fan of it, to be honest. Uh, no, not the glass break. But yeah, so this is me using my skill set to show you what I mean. I enjoy football. I also enjoy making stuff like this. I could throw in. Let's see what we have if I throw in a render. Yeah, this is the EPL trophy being modeled, part one. And I guess we'll get to do part two sometime in a couple of days. Thank you guys for tuning in. I appreciate it. Yo, peace out. God bless you.